Kaya Scodelario was destined to become a successful actress, and using numerology, we will see why and how. You will find out how numerology can show us someone's talents, how it can show us where their biggest money lies, how they could use the numbers to find the ideal profession. So stay tuned. If you're new here, I'm Psychic Swan, and here I do numerology readings and breakdowns. Let's look at Kaya's date of birth. She was born on the 13th of March, 92. So, straight away, this is a very creative person because the number 13 is all about renewal. It's all about moving from one project to the next, because the number 13 is actually the number of death. Now that sounds pretty bleak and pretty dark, but it actually has a creative side in that you're constantly renewing yourself. They don't like to be in one place for long. They always need to move to the next thing. And this is why creative professions, whether it's acting, dancing, singing, anywhere where you need to work on a creative project, finish it, publish that, and move on to the next, is an ideal sort of profession or an activity that all number 13s should have in their life. But what gives Kaya an even stronger acting streak is the number 3. So she was born in March. And the number 3 is very creative and expressive. The number 3 is always the person that wants to entertain others. They're very charismatic, they're very good at self-expression, they are very joyful, and they can pass on that joy to others. So any entertainment activities really suit the number 3s. She was born in 1992. When you add all of the numbers in 1992, you get 21. In the numerology system that I use, we look at numbers 1 to 22 because we use the Tarot Major Arcana. And so whenever we get a number higher than 22, we have to add it as a single digit, just FYI. But in Kaya's case, we get number 21, and that year of birth is actually the biggest indicator for Kaya's career purpose. So when you want to look at what professions suit you, when you want to look at how you can expand your finances, what talent you have, particularly when it comes to making money, you would look at your year of birth. Now, the number 21 is actually also a 3 because 2 plus 1 is 3. So they have a lot in common with the number 3. And again, I mentioned that it's all about creativity, self-expression. Number 21 is about expansion, it's about international projects. So again, any sort of entertainment, such as acting, is perfect, especially because it's about being a very big media personality. You see, the number 21 is the world energy, so it's this fulfillment and completion, and what they are really good at is being in the media. So being online, being seen, anything where you expand your horizons, especially internationally, is going to go down well. Number 21 also feels at home anywhere they go, and so they're really good at finding their place in any community, any group. And I think with acting, you naturally have to do a lot of that. You know, you have to fit into different scenarios, different characters, and essentially, I guess, be likable. The fact that she essentially has 2 number 3s tells me that acting is the perfect career for her, and that is also where her talent lies. Let's talk about the number 13 in a bit more detail in terms of personality and character. I'll forever remember Kaya as Effy Stonem from Skins, the incredibly mysterious, daring, rebellious character, and the number 13 is exactly that. They are very brave. They have this sort of dark energy about them, because remember, it's the death energy. And so people with the number 13, especially women, they tend to have this almost authority about them. They are not light-hearted, they're not your bubbly, soft girlies. They are pretty serious, they're pretty stern, they're stubborn, and they make great leaders as well. So the other thing about the number 13 and it being a death energy is that, of course, it's not literal death, but it's this risk taking. They love taking risks, they're really good at managing crises. And so you can imagine someone that is used to, or at least handles crisis well, would naturally be very grounded, very hard headed. And that is exactly the energy that Kaya gives off to me. I've seen another series called The Gentleman with her. She's there with Theo James, and again, she plays this really witty, silver-tongued, bossy lady, and she just suits that role very well. The cool thing about numerology is that you can learn about your character. It also shows you the negative sides of your character and how you can work on that, because that's always important, and we're always going to work on those throughout our life. And there's no such thing as not having a negative side. Every number has a good side and a negative side. And the other cool thing is that you can actually look at your karmic lessons. When you work through your karmic lessons, you are able to dodge and prevent yourself from attracting negative circumstances in your life. I'll give you an example. In Kaya's numerology matrix, I can see that her past life mistake in both her character and her, let's say, spiritual mission has been the number 22. Now, the number 22 is the number of freedom, the number of actually balancing the spiritual with the material. And because it's in her past life mistake, that means that she would have struggled initially to feel free and feel light-hearted. The number 22 also tells us that someone could be materialistic, that's the negative side. And so finding that more spiritual side to life, but also being more playful or humorous and not so serious, is something that Kaya definitely had to learn. Now, Kaya would naturally already be very responsible, very serious, because she's the number 13. And then she also has the lesson of being more light-hearted with the number 22. It's actually a very spiritually enlightened person, and it's someone that doesn't take life too seriously in a good way, because they know that it's all just a game in the grand scheme of things. And I think that ties in very nicely with her number 13. And actually 22 and the number 13 have a lot in common, because they're both number 4s at their core. And again, number 4 is all about being very responsible, being like this father figure, being very disciplined, but they can sometimes lack that playful, soft side. When I was doing research on Kaya, I've read that she actually had quite a tough childhood because her mum had major mental health issues. And that to me just ties in so well with what Kaya's mission is. So firstly, she was already born very responsible and very independent, and so it's like life gave her this situation with her mum. And it's very interesting that a lot of her karmic mission is to be more light-hearted, find freedom, not get too stuck in the hardships of life. And when you have a mentally ill mum since very young, you can imagine how hard that is. But you see, the way life works and what numerology shows us is that actually life will give you the lessons that you need to overcome to then gain that spiritual experience and work through your karmic lessons. So for example, your soul might have this lesson of, well, how can I be more playful? How can I not be so serious all the time? How can I find the little pleasures of life and be more light-hearted and enjoy myself whilst going through all of these difficult things? And I believe that that is a big part of what our soul is here to do. It's here to gain that experience, it's here to work through those lessons, and in the end we become this really healed, godlike energy, I guess, or vibration, and we come back to the creator or join with the universe, however you want to summarize it. The other useful thing about numerology is that it shows us how we can help ourselves to overcome these karmic lessons, how we can attract more abundance, more positivity in our life. And so one of the spiritual changes you can make within yourself in your mind with the number 13, let's say you're born on the 13th, is that you have to let go of the past. 13 is all about that death and rebirth. It's all about shedding the old. And so just judging by how Kaya has become successful and she made it in the acting world, I can derive that she's actually let go of her past. She was able to come out of the situation where her mum was very mentally ill, and she probably did find that joy, and actually she channeled herself and her hardships into creativity. And that to me also says that she worked through not only the number 13 but also the number 22, which was the past life mistake, because you're able to find joy in life. 22 is very creative with the voice, and so Kaya was able to work through that 22, overcome feeling burdened, actually find freedom in expressing yourself, using your voice, being creative. And she basically ticked all of the lessons that are in her date of birth, from the number 13 to the number 3, where she's acting and expressing herself and she's on stage, to the number 21, where she's really expanded her horizons, found different communities and groups that she could fit into and co-create with, and also the past life mistake where you overcome the burdens. I offer numerology readings. We can look at your talents, we could look at how you could expand your career, how you could get more finances by finding your career purpose. You can find a link to book in the description. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's someone that you want me to break down. I'd be more than happy to do so.